So I was approached by this station out in Des Moines, who happened to own a competing station in Boston, Hearst Broadcasting. And I made it clear that I make connections to climate change.
That is a positive correlation. When you have CO2 going up, so do the temperatures. The global temperatures go up.
And that's, as a board member of the American Meteorological Society, I've always stressed the importance of making the connections. We're the scientists. We should be making the connections. And I did. But I think I mentioned in my email to you, Peter, that it went from preaching to the choir. The feedback that I did receive in Boston was largely positive. Again, there wasn't a great volume of feedback, but then it went into jumping into the lion's den. And in fact, just the numbers, there are more conservative states than Iowa, but yet the feedback and the pushback that I'm getting, it almost doesn't add up. From threats to telling station management that they weren't going to watch the station anymore. And I'm still doing it. I think maybe the volume has pulled back because people expect that that's what I'm going to do. But it's using the climate central graphics. These aren't the full stories. As chief meteorologist, unfortunately, I can't be out covering these stories and spending days producing them and writing them. And I've done a couple, but they were just explaining how our wildly warm December is connected to climate change, that record warmth is outpacing record cold. Those are the types of connections I'm making during my weathercasts. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
Okay, that's a good start. So, you're not alone there, and it's actually, I don't know, it's a little bit of human nature, but I also think it's a little bit of planning there. That on social media, there's a swarming behavior by climate denial folks, and it's meant to intimidate. It's meant to silence people, but you're still there. Yeah,
it's interesting. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen my comments on Twitter when I say, what are you hiding behind? A fake Twitter profile, essentially an avatar that is a caricature, a fake image, and a Twitter handle that is usually snarky or a name followed by 6 or 7 numbers. But what's interesting, and I've been trying to just take a look at this, looking at the job I'm doing, kind of like an outside of body experience, just looking. And I've prided myself in being a good forecaster, but I think the pressure is even higher for me to not miss a forecast because I cover climate change. Because people will go after me even more if I miss a forecast. They'll say, if you don't know what the weather's going to do in 2 or 3 days, how do you know what's going to happen by 2050, by 2075? I think the pressure is that. I think the pressure is weighing on me even more than any other meteorologist in this market that isn't covering it. I think that that's pretty obvious by now. If I went for a forecast, a snowfall total of, I went 9 to 12 inches, and if we got 8, I would have been hammered for that. And if the station, my competition, went with 3 to 6 inches and we got 8, that would be totally fine. I don't mind that, but it really makes me have to give it my all, not just in making the connections with climate change, but have to make damn sure that my forecasts are accurate.